Welcome back, guys, to the Into the Teeth Golf Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Callum Allison, and I'm joined by a co-host,
Scott Rose. Thank you, Callum. That was a bit odd. We switched places there. You done the intro. It's normally me. I quite like that.
Yeah, we changed it up a wee bit today. I was very, very nervous, as you can tell, to open the podcast there. But we're here. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
What have you been up to over the last week?
Well, I got a wee bit of golfing. So I was down, as I said, I think I ended the last episode saying I was going down to London. So I went down. I was down there for 2 days with work down at HQ. Played golf on Wednesday at Bearwood Lakes, which is going to be...
How was that?
It was good, mate, yeah. It's going to be an open qualifying venue this year, kind of down in that region. Obviously, I'll be back down there in August, seeing Mr. Buckner. And then I played at Gleneagles on Thursday in preparation for the Gleneagles foursomes, which I'll be playing in at the end of the month.
That's correct.
So, yeah, mate.
You looking forward to that one, mate?
It's good. Foursomes is a brutal format, isn't it? Because
personally, I don't mind it. I don't mind it, to be honest. But
yeah, I find it. Well, it's not brutal. It's just you've got to get. I think with that, you've got to get like right. Who's going to tee off which hole? Which is going to play to your strengths? And then it's obviously you're not playing every shot and stuff like that. So I've not played a whole lot of foursomes, but I'm very much looking forward to a few days at Gleneagles. What about yourself, mate? How's your week been?
That should be good fun. My week's been good, yeah. Busy with work, a little bit of coaching. Played some paddle,
mate.
As you know, I'm almost
love a bit of paddle,
professional paddle player now. Yeah, I love it, mate. I played it on Saturday. I'll tell you my Saturday. I'll just kind of explain it briefly here. 8:30 to 10 paddle. So that's a 1.5 hour session right there. Straight into the Trackman studio after it for an hour. Up the road, done the chores, done the housework. Back down to play another game of paddle at 1 o'clock till 2. Had a tea time at Bathgate at 2:30. Went out and played 12 holes. I was absolutely scunner come 7 o'clock, but I had a friend's engagement party that I had to go to.
Oh my god!
Come 10 o'clock, I was done. I was absolutely done. But it was a very busy Saturday for me, mate.
That sounds unreal. I had a couple of pints on Sunday in Edinburgh, and I was nodding off on the train come back up the road.
It was the big man's birthday the other day. I can't believe we didn't start with that.
I know, mate. I know. Well, it's not that exciting when you turn 33, is it?
You still look 27, mate.
Cheers. Not a day older than 29. But yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, so me and the missus went into Edinburgh, dropped the wee man off at the mother-in-law's, so she looked after him for a few hours. Went to Chipraya, mate. Have you been to Chipraya, Thai restaurant?
I have not, but yeah, I've not been before. Is it Thai food? Is it a Thai chain? Yeah.
I had a couple of pints of Singer,
Super.
which obviously posted on the story there. Got a couple of boys disagreeing with the pint of Singer, but I don't think you can beat it really.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Singer, to be honest.
See, when you go to...
I don't know if that's how...
See, when you go to an Indian...
But I'm going to say...
When you go to an Indian, are you having a Cobra, or are you having a...
Kingfisher.
See, I'm a Cobra. I like a Cobra, eh?
Kingfisher. I like a Kingfisher, mate. Yeah, Dishoom, Glasgow, a wee Ruby Murray and a Kingfisher. Jeez, that's a good combo. That's a good combo.
I don't mind it. But yeah, mate, another year older. Definitely not wiser. But hey, we move on, eh? That's it.
We move on, and we're going to talk about the RBC Heritage, another fantastic event last weekend there. Matt Fitzpatrick coming out on top after a playoff against the world number 1 Scottish Scheffler. Managed to birdie the last in the playoff hole there to beat the world number 1. I mean, some fantastic golf, scoring wise, both 18 under over the 4 rounds. Some super golf. 4-iron, I believe it was, from about 206 yards out on the last hole, and he put it in about 15 feet. What a golf shot it was from Matt Fitzpatrick. Straight into the teeth as well, on the last hole.
But yeah, I mean, it's always I think a signature event the week after the Masters or any major. Gets a wee bit sleepy, a wee bit of a hangover, but I think when you go into a course like that, you can pick yourself right up and just, you're almost off and running, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean it's got so much heritage from the event itself. As I
Pardon the
say, it's
pun.
yeah, one of my personal favourites actually. I quite like watching it. It looks like a fantastic location. I've never been there obviously myself in South Carolina, but
It looks
it looks
mega
incredible.
mega tight, mega strategic off the tee.
Mm.
Um, I mean, when you look at it, I don't know who you had your £2.50 on this week, Callum, and I know you go for high odds rather than who you think's going to win. But with the way he's been playing this year, won Valspar, second at the Players, he's already won at the RBC. You almost think Fitzpatrick was a bit of a shoe-in, wasn't he?
It was, to be honest. One of the boys had Scheffler, but we didn't have Fitzpatrick, I must say. My personal pick was Chris Gotterup. But I think in the first round, I seen a video of him
I took an air shot, eh?
missing the ball completely. So, yeah, that kind of summed up my pick again. The boys have been struggling. I must say the boys have been struggling a little bit when it comes to the betting game. But listen, it's an enjoyable watch.
At this stage in your gambling thing, you'll not be going very far for your golf trip.
No, I think we'll just be going down to the local bitches basket. That's right. But yeah, back to Fitzpatrick there. You obviously, rhymed off some. I've got some of his stats here actually. Currently world number 3, second in the FedEx Cup at the moment as well. 9 out of 9 cuts made so far this season. 2 wins, 1 runner-up finish, 4 top 10s, and 7 top 25s. Currently, what do you think that man has earned in this season so far?
Oh, you're turning it on me. It's normally me that asks questions.
I know.
I reckon he's picked up.
It's quite eye-watering.
I'm going to say 9 out of 9, about 11 million.
Close. 9.1, 9.2 million so far. Which is phenomenal. Currently third in strokes gained total as well. So if you're comparing Matt Fitzpatrick's stats...
Matt Fitzpatrick. You always say Mats as if he's like a Scandinavian lad. Mats.
Sounds a bit better than that. Matt Fitzpatrick. Anyway, if you're comparing his stats to Scottie, so Scottie obviously world number 1, leading the FedEx Cup, 1 win, 2 runner-up finishes, 1 third place, around about 8.4 million in prize money at the moment. I mean, it was a top playoff there too. The best players in the world at the moment, both on decent runs in terms of performance and skills. I mean, everyone would say Scott Scheffler's not quite performing to his best, which I agree, but we're starting to see him come into his own a little bit after the Masters run last week, so 2 weeks ago now, and then that performance at RBC. I think he's close to getting another title to his name.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think Scottie's obviously, he finished second to Rory at the Masters last week, and then he's lost out in a playoff this week. I feel like although he's not won, people should be absolutely shiting themselves because he is. I reckon he's got his BC game at the moment, and he's only just getting pipped. I watched a wee bit of it last night, and obviously a little bit of the charge down the straight, but that kind of mid-section, that mid part of the round where Fitzpatrick was just keeping his head above water. I mean Scottie's. And his iron play wasn't great this week.
No.
But, yeah, I just think he could go absolutely off on one. I actually need to correct myself. We were talking about the majors last week, and I says that the US Open's at Aronimink, but it's actually the PGA Championship that's at Aronimink, which is up next.
Oh, your favourite event?
And the US Open's at Shinnecock. It's mental how you actually need to maybe say correct things when you're recording it and putting it out there for everyone to listen to.
I know, and it's even worse when your podcast partner doesn't have a Scooby where it is either. So we're starting strong, Scott. We're starting.
But yeah, I can see. I don't know. There's so many good players, but I could see Scottie winning PGA Championship. I think the US Open's the one where he's always struggled to separate himself from the field. I think he's always found it a bit tough at a US Open. But yeah, I know we were talking about Matthew Fitzpatrick there, but I just, week in, week out, I just think, even though he's not won, I just always come away thinking that Scottie is head and shoulders above every player in the world.
Well, I mean, he's got the ability just to absolutely cruise it, doesn't he? I mean, he's all round player, to be honest, and I think over the last 2 weeks we're really starting to see him come on his own. And it was a 4-under bogey free round in the last round there. For RBC, I think Fitzpatrick was bogeyed the last for a 1-under. Maybe a little bit nervy. Obviously played with each other, I think 3 to 4 rounds, I believe as well. So, I mean, does that have a wee effect going down the stretch for Fitzpatrick? Does he?
I don't know, because
making that bogey there, bit of pressure with Scottie breathing down his neck. I mean, you seen his chip at the side of the green. I don't know if you managed to catch it at all. Scottie went first from a similar position, kind of chipped it on halfway, released down the hill towards the pin, almost a tap in. Fitzpatrick checked up halfway and he left himself an absolute stinker of a putt to try and secure it for the win. So I don't know if there's a little bit of nerves just with the situation and it being Scottie there, but I mean he got the job done.
Yeah,
in
and
the
I
end.
I think any player, whether it's Scottie, Rory, Fitzpatrick, I think if they're saying that they're not nervous coming down the stretch, like they're liars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, obviously there was a lot made out of the crowd this week. The USA chants and stuff. What did you make of that, mate?
I think Fitzpatrick handled it very well. I quite like the way he spoke in his interview about it. He said, he loves football and he relates to, the atmosphere is like a football game where you've got the fans there that are creating an atmosphere. It's fun to be around. It creates, a bit of determination for him as well to try and get the win and to beat Scottie Scheffler, obviously being an American. I've just been so impressed with Fitzpatrick in terms of the grit and his steel that he's got just now. Really, really playing with some confidence in his game, which is phenomenal. But I think he nailed it pretty well in his interview with what he said in terms of, I think it brings a good atmosphere. I think if they just need to keep it sensible, I mean, I think they can carry it away just like any fans in the world when it comes to a sport.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was a good atmosphere.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think there's a fine line. I think golf's not the most exciting live event to go watch out with a major, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's the whole I used to always get really wound up watching the telly, and as soon as they hit like a shot, and it's like getting the hole. I used to hate that. Or mashed potatoes, horrific.
See that on your hat soon.
Exactly. I could maybe make that hat actually. But yeah, I don't know. There's a fine line. I think obviously there's a lot of leftover stuff from Bethpage, which I think a Ryder Cup's something in its own, and I think you can separate that from everything else. I don't mind it personally, and I also think the last player that's going to be that bothered by it is Fitzpatrick. It's not going to bother him at all.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that golf's getting a bit more relaxed that way in terms of the crowds and the beverages that are getting consumed at these events, and crowds are getting a bit more rowdy? I mean, I've got some of the stats here.
You've got some stats on pints, strokes gained pints.
Well, just about the RBC Heritage event itself. So 135 million in economic impact from that event, which is
That's mega, isn't
quite
it?
unreal, to be honest. That's ridiculous. 61 million in charitable donations as well from that event. So it shows you how big an event it is, and the money that's turning over for being in South Carolina as well, which is where the event is held. It's quite a quiet part of the.
Well, it's a resort, isn't it?
So
Hilton Head. It's
so I mean,
right?
it's making some crazy cash. So
I think
in terms of the people there, there's a lot.
And obviously, I think we're going to speak a little bit about LIV, and speak a little bit about the difference between a PGA structure, commercial structure, and a LIV commercial structure and stuff. But is it changing? Probably. I think the Phoenix Open, obviously the one that you always think about, isn't it? Like that 16th hole, people going absolutely apeshit, throwing their beers onto the green and stuff. I think it's definitely changed massively on the PGA Tour. Obviously, DP World Tour Open Championships, well, every other kind of major championship, it's not quite to that level. I don't mind it though.
I think with the waste management, again, it's fine lines, isn't it? I mean, they're throwing the beer cans and stuff in the green. For me, I think you've just got to watch that doesn't get out of hand. I wouldn't be personally.
Well, that was the year.
Fan of that myself,
that was the year. Remember, Duffner took his. No, it wasn't Duffner. Sorry, it was Joe Damon. Sorry, took his shirt off and was like spinning it across his head. It was the year that I think it was the only year that they done it was when they started launching beer cans onto the green and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult. You can get caught up in the whole, stuffy golf mindset,
the traditional side of the game. Yeah,
I don't think that's a massive part of what golf is at the moment. But like you said, mate, there's fine lines, isn't there? I just want people to stop shouting stupid shite when it gets thingy. Did you hear the boy last week at the Masters? I can't remember who it was, but someone shouted, "Give me back my son," which apparently is from like a Mel Gibson film. I have no idea which one it is, but that's all I've heard in the back of my brain now for the last few days.
Give me back my son.
That boy there, I can guarantee you a couple of green jackets from Augusta would have put hands on that boy's shoulders and went, "You're going to have to leave, sir, and here's your lifetime ban from Augusta National."
Yeah. I think Sergio will be getting one of them to the post as well soon.
Well, what about talking about obviously Max Homa got interviewed. It was pre-tournament and asked about throwing clubs and breaking clubs and all that sort of stuff, and he gave a really thoughtful answer about if we throw clubs and stuff, it makes us look spoiled and it's not a good look. And then I think on the Saturday he absolutely launched one of his irons in the wasteland at a tree. It was quite funny, actually. He's addressed already. I quite like Max Homa. He's a good lad.
Yeah. But I mean, we've all been there as golfers, as you say, mate. It can get very frustrating at times, and trying to handle your emotions is quite a hard thing when you are a professional golfer.
But I think anyone, the amount of I used to work in pro shops as an assistant, the amount of boys that used to come in with snapped wedges and stuff. And they give it to like a
keeps us in their
business. First year, second year assistant, and they hand it to me like, "Can you reshaft that?" And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, "Do you know how much work has to go into this?"
Exactly. Send it back to Ping.
Yeah, exactly. Please be a Ping, because I'll just send it back to Ping and they'll get it sorted ASAP.
Okay, I'm going to go on a wee bit of storytelling time.
It's story time with Callum.
Story time with Callum and then Duty's Golf Podcast. Not so much story time, just a little bit of a brief history of the RBC Heritage event. Do you know, I was going to do what you do to me usually, and just make a complete clown of me sometimes. Thanks, Scott. But right, do you know when the first PGA Tour event was at Harbour Town?
First PGA Tour event?
The year of the first event.
1968.
69.
Right.
Very close, mate. Very close. That was impressive. 1969, the first PGA Tour event. Arnold Palmer won the event after coming off a 14 months drought, I think it was, which is pretty impressive. Looking back at the history a little bit, there were talks about him winning that event. Has it made it a bigger event over the years because of him winning it for the first time?
Potentially.
That was a point of discussion, obviously back in the day until now as well.
Sorry to disrupt your story.
That's okay.
I think golf courses matter. Right, that's my opinion on a tournament. Is if the golf course is really good, it's worth watching. So that's a great golf course at Hilton Head. Riviera is a brilliant golf course. Augusta's Augusta and da-da-da-da. But if I was to, go and watch an event, well, next week, for example, Zurich's a wee bit of a different example because it's like a doubles thing. But, TPC Louisiana, I think it's at, or you've got TPC Craiglang. Yeah. To me, they don't do anything for me as a golf course. I'm not really that bothered about them. Yeah.
Well, he did actually say, Mr. Palmer himself said it was in his top 25 in the world. So there you go. So it must be a pretty good golf course. Pretty good golf course. Do you know when it was originally, at the time of year when the event originally was?
If you're asking me that,
Because it's changed.
so now it's technically in spring. I'm going to say,
It's after the Masters now.
yeah, I'm going to say it used to be pre-Masters, like winter time.
Thanksgiving.
So that's November, is it?
It was the week of Thanksgiving. I believe so, yeah. November, yeah.
Wow.
They're before December.
I can imagine
so
it gets quite
Thanksgiving
cold
week.
in South Carolina in November, does it?
Well, that was the kind of discussion at the time was they're hosting this PGA Tour event on Thanksgiving week. Are they going to get the big names turning up? And of course, Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus obviously pitched up to the event, and Palmer goes and wins it. So obviously now the event date's changed to the week after the Masters. But there's a wee bit of history for you. And further on to the story we go.
Oh.
Okay, I'm loving this here. I'm loving this. So Arnold Palmer gets the win. And do you know why it would be called the RBC Heritage? What link does that have to Scotland at all?
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say, well, RBC is the bank that sponsors it, is it not?
Yeah, but the heritage part of it, more that was
well, it's a tartan jacket that they get.
Yep, plaid. Yep.
Plaid jacket. So I'm going to say I'll have some ties. The head pro at Hilton Head used to be Scottish.
No, well. Listen to this one. This is quite an interesting fact. So, believe that New York, there was a club called Yonkers Club in New York, and I think they would believe, probably still to this day as well, that they were the first state to have golf in America, in the States.
Oh, right, okay.
However, going back to the 1800s, or just the 1700s, sorry, it was found that it was actually South Carolina. It was the first state in America to have golf introduced over there, and it was actually found from a shipment. This all dates all the way back to the 1700s. There was a shipment that was found with hickory golf clubs and a feathery ball. I think it was made of. I've got the exact details of what it was made of.
The old balls
as well.
used to be bound and feathered, didn't they?
Yeah, bird feather and cow leather, I think it was as well, which was incredible. But all the way back to that date, which is phenomenal. I thought it was, a little bit of heritage there, and that's why they toss it to the heritage side to tip the cap to Scotland there. So, yeah, fun facts with Callum on the Into the Teeth Golf Podcast.
That
there
was
you
a
go. Golfer sticks and featheries.
There you go.
Boiled bird feathers and cowhide. That was what the balls were made of.
Imagine you told them, if you went back and told them how golf balls would be getting made nowadays and how far they would be going and stuff like that. They would.
Well, with the recent chat, mate, we might be going back to the boiled bird feathers and cowhide if they want the ball to start going as far.
That's maybe a podcast for another day. We put something on Instagram asking any questions for the podcast tonight, and James Brannan, who won our Masters flag, had asked about the World Handicap System, and I just replied saying I think that's a 6-hour podcast. That's something that even like me going back amateur since only a few months now, I'm starting to slowly get my head around it, and it's obviously back when I was an amateur, I say way back when, it's not like I'm an old man, but it was on the Congo system where it was, if you played shite, you collected 0.1, you had buffer and stuff like that. So that's maybe something that we'll touch on in maybe when the season's finished and we've got absolutely nothing to talk about, we'll talk about World Handicap System.
Yeah, I've got strong feelings about that as well. I feel like all the good golfers were pre the old system.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into that because we could talk about it all night. I'm gonna go.
Thanks, James. Thanks, James.
I'm gonna almost talk about the opposite of heritage now, Callum.
We're shifting the narrative here.
Are you finished with your story time? I don't want to disrupt your story time because I was enjoying myself.
No, that was it. That was that was me. Yeah, South Carolina, and New York, thinking they're the first states to get the golfing structure into the States. But fact check, it was South Carolina, New Yorkers.
But there's obviously, I would say, a sleepy week after the Masters is normally where people would probably, break stories, and it was no different this year. And we had obviously all the rumours and the razzmatazz, shall we call it, around LIV, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind few days. Not really sure what's happening.
It has. It has been a lot of rumours circling the future of the LIV Tour. What do you think? What do you think yourself, mate? Obviously, has there been anything confirmed? I know the CEO or the chairman came out and said it's funded for the 2026 season, but there wasn't much more in terms of their future that was discussed.
I've got a wee bit on that. So I think the first thing I saw of it, I think, would have been on Twitter. Monday Q, which is a guy who basically does all the mini tour stuff, and he's quite well connected. It said something pretty major is going to be happening with LIV, but the conversation around LIV has shifted obviously dramatically. I would say a few weeks ago, after probably Adelaide or LIV South Africa, we're maybe talking about, could LIV maybe be sustainable? Could we see it maybe not rivaling the PGA Tour? I don't think it ever will, but is it another option for the PGA Tour? And it's, as I said, it's completely shifted. There's been emergency meetings. There's rumours about the funding. I mean, there's even potential talk of it ending. And I think it all kind of stems back to, well, I think there's a lot of geopolitical stuff going on. A lot of stuff that we are not smart enough to probably comment on, but I know that with everything that's going on with USA and Iran, that Saudi will definitely have a lot of money tied up in oil and stuff like that. But basically, the biggest development that's come out of this, it centres around the fact that PIF, so the Public Investment Fund, which is obviously the financial engine behind LIV Golf and a lot of Saudi's kind of sports funding, has reported essentially that investment could be scaled back, or the whole project could be restructured. There was a report that there was a high-level meeting in New York of all the kind of LIV leadership executives and everything like that. And one thing that I would always say is, and in today's world, you can almost not really trust much of what you read on social media. I'm probably a bad example because I probably get all my news from Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it as I flick through it from there. But I think when you start seeing journalists from the New York Post starting to write columns on this, which are legally, bound to have stuff checked before they post it, then I think there's definitely something to be said about that. PIF are obviously saying they might scale back funding, and it's already sank. They've already sank billions and billions of dollars into LIV.
I think it's five plus billions in terms of the money they've burned, and it's without a profit as well. So I mean, how long is that sustainable for? I mean, you're paying these guys wads of money. Yes, the events are maybe gaining a little bit of traction. It's getting bigger, but it's still not turning a profit. So where's the model in terms of getting some?
And that goes back to what I'd mentioned when you were talking about the RBC, right? About the money that it brings into the area. And PIF have obviously seen golf as a massive corporate entity. It's where banks and everything and FedEx and everything that piles billions and billions of dollars into sponsorship. And my opinion is Saudi Arabia and the PIF have gone, well, I would like a piece of that. I want to be in a room with these people, these titans of industry, and golf seems to be one of the quickest and maybe easiest ways to go there. Maybe why don't we start a league? Now, I don't think LIV have ever had that infrastructure behind them from a corporate point of view. They've had obviously the money from PIF, but they've not had the money coming in from all different types of sponsors, and I think that obviously has a massive impact on it. But I've come out and said that I would rather watch LIV than some DP World Tour events, and I stand by that. I'm not backtracking on anything that I've said there. But
Yeah.
When it's the RBC Heritage is on and there's no DP World Tour event on and it's LIV Mexico, which is similar timing to the PGA Tour, there's no chance I'm watching it. But I paid attention to it a wee
No.
bit. These chats are coming out as I think they're playing their Pro-Am. There's media asking questions to the players. The players are saying that they don't know, they've not heard of anything. Then they open up the broadcast on the first day, and David Ferretti says, this is absolute nonsense, and Arlo White gives it, this isn't stopping, and Oliver Wilson, who obviously played in DP World Tour, who now does media with LIV, interviewed Scott O'Neill, who's the CEO, and essentially, I don't have it verbatim, I don't have it quote, but essentially he talks about funding's there to the end of the year, why wouldn't you want LIV involved in your business? It drives this, it drives that, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. He says stuff like, where is there funding still there? Well, we're a business, so we need investment like everyone else. They've ended up taking that video interview offline and then reposting it again, maybe half an hour later with that section cut out. And I think everyone's just a wee bit confused by it all.
Yeah, there's certainly something going on in the background. I think it's easy enough to see that. Whether the future of LIV is a jeopardy, does it? I don't know if there was talks about DP World and LIV potentially becoming some sort of combined tour or some funding being transferred between the two of them.
I always thought, the strategic alliance, right, that came about between the PGA Tour and European Tour, I think that almost killed the DP World Tour. Mm-hmm. It's, so they've basically, we'll co-sanction X amount of events, obviously one of them being the Scottish Open. I think there's another one like the Barracuda Championship or something like that. And then the top 10 players in your order of merit every year get PGA Tour cards. Yeah. I think that has really devalued the DP World Tour and the European Tour to what it used to be. The European Tour used to be unbelievable.
It used to be incredible, mate. Yeah. You used to be able to... you knew the majority of the names on the European Tour or the DP World Tour. You're lucky, again, I don't watch it now, but you're lucky if I can name 20 players.
Yeah. And I think that's a shame, and it's a bit of the world that we go in. Everyone's goal is to go make the money on the PGA Tour, and I get that, but I just think, you look at, I'm sure it's Guy Kinnings now is like the chief executive of the European Tour. I feel like he should be chapping on the door at Scott O'Neill and being like, let's just make something work. There was chat of them saying it will be the LIV schedule, plus 6 or 7 national opens. Now the national opens obviously belong to the DP World Tour, but LIV also pretty much operate and fund the international series, which used to be the Asian Tour. So it's all a bit up in the air what's happening, and I think there's rumours of execs that work for LIV are out looking for jobs and stuff, and it's an absolute mess. And I just don't understand what the end game is. I don't think they can end the season. There's chat of it ending after Mexico. I don't think that'll be the case. They've said they've got fun until the end of the season, but then after that, what happens? There's no plan in place.
Yeah, of what we know of anyway. Certainly, I've met the head of the PIF a few times. Obviously, my time in Saudi Arabia, and the man absolutely loves golf. He absolutely loves it, and the investment they're making in terms of their golf course structures and all these golf courses that are being built at the moment over
Yasser
there.
Al-Mayan?
Yeah.
Because obviously they have, they're the PIF are what own Newcastle United.
Yeah, that's correct.
Al Nasser, which I think even Al Nasser football team, they're talking about pulling funding from that, and it'll be interesting what happens from a Newcastle United point of view. Is they've pulled out of, remember the line that they were building.
Yeah, that's
They've scrapped
is
that.
Is it completely kiboshed,
I think they're
has it just been shortened?
or they're changing it into something. I'm not 100% sure what they're changing it to, but I just think. Well, I wanted to ask you actually. Sorry, if LIV was to finish at the end of this year,
Yes.
has the emergence of LIV strengthened all the players that stayed and have played on the PGA Tour?
That's a good question, Scott. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you get. I think that the competitiveness and the level on the PGA Tour, probably say it's probably an all-time high in terms of the players' abilities. I would say it's weakened the players that left.
Oh, that wasn't the question, Callum.
I know, but more than it's strengthened the PGA Tour, I would say it's weakened the players that left. If they boys were still in it, I believe that the level of the PGA Tour would probably still be the same in terms of the performance levels. I think it's strengthened it in terms of. I think it's strengthened it as golf in a whole, but it's because we've been talking about it a lot more. There's so much more talking points to it. They've had to, obviously, as we've discussed before, in terms of the prize pots for the PGA Tour, they've obviously increased and invested a lot more money in that as well. So has it had beneficial effects? Definitely. I think it has.
I think, obviously, when LIV was first spoken about, it was this massive disruptor, and it was ripping the world of golf apart. It was, taking a Bryson and what ended up being a John Ram and a Brooks, and at the time there were probably a bit more relevant a Poulter and a Martin Keimer and a Westwood and stuff. But I almost think that at the end of 2026, if they find a pathway for their players to get back on at the PGA Tour playing mainstream golf, I just think they're sitting back going, I mean, yeah, we've lost billions of dollars, but look at what we've done to golf. As you say, mate, the prize pots or the prize money in PGA Tours increased significantly. You've got signature events now. You've got the PIP, which is the Player Impact Program. These are all things geared towards giving the players more money, and it's now run by a private equity firm. It's not a non-profit anymore. The players get equity in the tour, and it's completely changed the economics of golf. And I do think that was. Listen, I think that they set out to have a successful golf tour and a golf league, and that might still be the case. We don't know, but I think that I just think that they've completely changed the landscape of golf, and it's not one of those things that we'll forget about in the next few years. Rightly or wrongly, I think they have changed the landscape of it.
It's only had. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Scott. I think it's been massively beneficial for our game. Regardless of the outcome, we don't know what's going to happen. Brooks has paid his big fine to get back on the PGA Tour. If LIV finishes, what is the pathway for these players to get back onto the tour? What's the fines? What's the fees? It'll be interesting when that discussion comes around, if it comes around. But honestly, I don't know where to start in terms of, if it does shut down, what happens? How do the other players feel with the guys that have walked away for the big payday, just waltzing back into the PGA Tour?
I think there was obviously a section of the players who sued the PGA Tour and therefore sued the players in the PGA Tour. Bryson DeChambeau being one of them.
Of course.
Think it becomes quite hard for him to maybe come back, although he's a global player, he sees them at majors and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, Brian Rolap, who now is the main man at the PGA Tour, he's able to just create things. He created rules to get Brooks back. He's going to give Patrick Reed a pathway to get back. If I was a Thomas Dietrich or a Ben Ann who just signed up for LIV this year I'd be absolutely fuming.
Yeah, you'd be shitting yourself as well because technically you don't know what your future is either. And then you have to go back to the start again. You know, if nothing changes on the DP World Tour, you start there again, having to work through the ranks to try and get your PGA Tour card
And that's
back.
where I think
you know,
the DP World Tour could really be a winner here. But then the thing you've got
Yeah.
though is, you know, I know the first year there wasn't a lot of events in America because the big thing behind LIV was a global tour. But a lot of these, Bryson DeChambeau's not going to play in the fucking magical Kenya Open. Or,
No.
you know what I mean? He's not going to want to. A lot of these boys aren't going to want to travel to the arse end of nowhere in Europe, or India,
Yeah.
or the Middle East, or Africa to go and play in these events. It would be amazing for the tour if it did, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't know where that'll end up, Scotty boy, but it's certainly a good chat.
I've got two questions for you, and we'll wrap up this live chat.
Okay,
two questions for you.
Go for it.
First one is a yes/no question.
Okay.
And 2027, is LIV Golf still playing?
In 2027, is LIV Golf
Is it still a
playing?
thing?
I am going to say, I'm going to say no.
Okay, I think it will.
At the end of 2027. At the end of 27, I'm going to say
Okay.
no. I think there'll be something, but it won't be LIV.
Okay, I think they will. For some reason,
Okay.
I think they will. And then the next one is out of the players that currently play on LIV, if you can remember them all,
Yep.
give me your top 5 that you want to see back playing on the PGA Tour.
Go for that again for me.
So out of the players that are currently playing on LIV, give me the
Yep.
top 5 of those players that you want to see back. You would just give them automatic membership back to the PGA Tour.
We actually put this on the Instagram, I think, didn't
Yeah, but I want to hear
Yeah.
yours.
we? DeChambeau,
Okay.
Ram.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I don't like on that tour now. I like Dustin Johnson, but I don't know. Yeah, Dustin Johnson. I'll say Dustin Johnson.
2 more.
Who's the Chilean? I completely forgot his
Joaquin
name.
Neiman.
Joaquin
Yeah.
Neiman. Yeah, I like Joaquin. And I've got to go for Uncle Phil.
Phil. I think
Yeah.
Phil's just burnt so many bridges, isn't he? It's a shame. Phil should be welcome back. You know, he's an absolute nut job, but you know what
He's done
what
it,
he's done
listen.
for the game is frightening, isn't it?
He's got a good legacy when it comes to his part that he played in the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So I think that would be what would be your 5? That would be my 5.
It's hard to disagree with the names that you said. I think definitely Bryson and Ram.
Yeah, I mean they're I think they're guaranteed because they're still competitive in terms of the being
Yeah,
the best in the
I
world.
think,
You're still your top 10 in the world.
Tyrrell Hatton.
Oh God, Dave Tyrrell. Yeah, forgot about Tyrrell.
I would take. I wouldn't bother with DJ. I would take Joaquin Neiman, and then I'm gonna give a special exemption to Anthony Kim. Because
Why?
I just think I think he's box office, mate. Anthony Kim, I mean, we obviously hadn't started this podcast when the whole Anthony Kim started about, but I remember just watching Anthony Kim at the Ryder Cup in Valhalla, big massive belt buckles, and then obviously what he'd done at the Masters, was it 9 birdies in a row or something he made at the Masters one year, and yeah, just absolute box office, and then obviously whatever's happened. But I would give a special membership back to AK.
AK, there we go. I'm sure he'll be happy to get your validation, Scott.
I'm sure Anthony Kim
Or
does
Anthony.
not give a flying fuck what I think, but there you go.
What do you think with his partnership with Martin? Is it Marlin? What's the company called? Marlin
What, the clothing company?
Golf? What's the
Malbon. I
Malbon.
was confused there.
Yeah, Marlin. Malbon Golf. What do you think of the partnership there? Do you think that's helped put him back in the map a little bit?
Yeah, maybe.
That collaboration?
Maybe. I think Malbon are, some of the clothing's maybe not my sort of style. You're a bit trendier than me, Callum. You'd probably like some of the
I mean, I could wear it, but I wouldn't pull it off.
Of it. Yeah, me too. Actually. I'm too short to wear those big baggy tops. It look like I'm wearing a 90. But yeah, I mean, obviously then he's been drafted into the Four Aces, which is sponsored by Under Armour. So you can only wear. But no, I think it's mega, mate. But
yeah,
we've got a wee bit going on in the world of golf coming up this week. So again, we are no European Tour event. No, sorry, they're in China. Excuse me.
That's where my confusion was last week when I said we're in China, because I thought it was last week.
The Volvo China
you're right,
Open, Scottish people in the field. We've got Cameron Adam, lefty, Ewan Ferguson,
okay,
Scott Jameson,
Scotty boy,
David Law. We've got Richie Ramsey, Connor Syme,
Ewan
Walker, and Danny Young.
Is Callum Hill not playing?
Callum Hill's not playing in China, no.
No? Alright, okay.
Then we've got obviously Zurich Classic, which is the doubles one, and I'm putting all my money in the world on Matthew Fitzpatrick and his brother Alex Fitzpatrick.
That's going to be some primetime TV as well, just because it's the doubles event, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, you know what, like Fitzpatrick could or Alex Fitzpatrick could get a PGA Tour card if they win. How good would that be?
Yeah, that would be unbelievable. That would be incredible.
Weird one.
I quite like this week as well for watching
Obviously,
TV.
Shane Lowry and Rory McIlroy won it a couple of years ago, but Shane Lowry is teamed up with Brooks Koepka this week.
That's is that the Srixon partnership coming through there? Yeah, Srixon partnership coming through there. Is Rory playing?
Not playing, mate, no. Rory's not playing. One other team to I think will be quite an exciting one potentially if they get going is Luke Clanton, who's obviously just turned pro at college, absolute superstar, and Blades Brown, who's the 18-year-old lad who turned pro. That could be a bit of a good one there, a bit of a young lads pairing.
Blades Brown, is that what you said
Blades
there?
Brown, mate. Yeah, you never heard of Blades Brown?
I mean, that's.
I'm sure
that's
he might still be in high school.
A superstar name in the making.
Still be in high school.
That's a superstar name, right?
It's like something out of the Mighty Ducks, isn't
it? You just know where that name is going to be on the headlines at some point. Hopefully good. But yeah.
And then in the ladies' game, we've got a ladies' major. We've got the Chevron Championship.
Yes.
And I think we've only got one Scots woman in the field, Gemma Dryborough. But yeah, I mean, you know what? We don't really talk that much about ladies golf, Callum. We should probably speak about ladies golf a wee bit more.
We should add that a wee bit more in, because it's fantastic stuff that's going on in the ladies golf sport as well. So we should certainly touch on points in the game as well. Some fantastic players and stories from that side of the game as well. So certainly something we should speak about more.
Right. By the time we speak next week, Callum, LIV might have blown up, and it might not even be a thing anymore.
But more importantly, it's the Callaway Cup this week on Thursday. The return of the defending champ. So I will be playing there on Thursday. Thank God none of the scores
is there live scoring?
Don't want to see me. No, there is not. And I'm just going to lie about the score if I have a bad day.
I did see you posting a few swings on Instagram. I thought, boys been grinding.
Well, it always looks good on video. Always looks good on video, but under a bit of pressure.
It doesn't look that good on video.
It's getting better, Scotty. Leave me alone.
It's getting better, mate. It's getting better. I don't think. Have I got any golf this week? Oh, I tell you where I'm playing on Thursday night. Playing at Prestwick.
Oh,
Prestwick Old, mate. Yeah.
Lovely.
I'll take.
How did you get an invite there?
It's all about who you know, Callum. It's all about who you know, Sam. So I'll enjoy that. Actually, I'll take a few photos and stuff and maybe post it on the channel.
Definitely. One course I've never played actually. One course I've not played in the West Side.
I've played it once before. Thought it was absolutely brilliant, and the weather looks good for a Thursday evening as well.
Yeah, they actually said it wouldn't hold a tour event because it's too short now. They say it's a good, fantastic layout, but it's just far too short for a tour event. Would you say, obviously, your experience of being there?
You know what? I can't remember an awful, loads and loads about it. I think I maybe played it when I was 19 or 20. But yeah, it's very old school links. It's very obviously you got the railway line and the similar to Royal Troon on the side. But no, I'm really looking forward to that. And
amazing.
Then obviously Gleneagles foursomes the following week. So that could be
Kings and Queens, isn't it? I believe.
So myself and my partner, we're first round is on the Queens.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then if I don't get to the final of that, which highly likely we won't, I've got a Fife Golf spring meeting at Elmwood on the Sunday the 3rd. I'm diving straight back into the amateur golf scene.
How does it work that when you go back to amateur, you play more golf than you did when you were a professional?
Well, yeah, I probably am playing an obscene amount of golf for a man that also has a 5-month-old baby, but yeah, we'll maybe leave that too. I don't want to flag that up to the missus in case she reads it out. But no. She's
tuning into the podcast on Wednesday. She's going to find out.
My missus doesn't even listen to me when I talk to her. Never mind listen to me on a screen. Have you, other than Callaway Cup, are you going to play in any PGA stuff this year, Cal?
I normally play in the Strathmore event, the PGA Scotland Strathmore event, which is actually one of my favourites. I love Strathmore. I think it's a fantastic.
What a golf course.
Yeah, I mean, every single year I have played that event, I've played rubbish, but the greens have been fantastic. Honestly, the greens are unbelievable at the time of year. I think it's August time, I believe, when that event's on. But yeah, plan to play Strathmore.
Good. Any
I think the SPGA.
Any Tartan Pro Tour?
Scott, come on. You know my ability. You see my swing on Instagram. I don't quite have the talent for the Tartan Tour. Also, for me, for me and you probably, we don't play enough in order to justify the £250 donation to the boys that are playing in that. I mean, it is a donation. These guys that are on the Tartan Tour in Scotland, if you've not seen it or heard of it, check it out. Some of the talent on it is fantastic. The scoring's incredible. These boys are, consistently under par. Talking about the different levels of where you need to go to, it's quite impressive the talent that is in Scotland, and
I think even now
it puts into perspective what kind of level you need to be at to get to the top in this game.
And I think I think that's something that as a we don't brand ourselves as a Scottish golf podcast. We're a golf podcast, but we are Scottish. Believe it or not, from our accents. I think we should cover and chat about the Tartan Pro Tour stuff, because obviously Euro Pro, which was like, if you're going to put it in football terms, like League One of professional golf, and Satellite Tour, when that folded, Paul Laurie's tour, which is the Tartan Pro Tour, obviously has a couple of Challenge Tour or Hotel Planner Tour cards now, and as you say, mate, the standard of golf's frightening. And some of these events, you could go along and watch, and you're not going to be in massive crowds. You can get up and watch some really good golf on some really good golf courses, and I think what Paul's done and the boys attached to Paul have done with that tour over the last few years has been brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think they've made the schedule even better this year.
Royal Dornoch is the first event on the. I think it starts on the 28th, I think, of April.
I think they've got Royal Dornoch. I think they've got Carnoustie. They've got Gleneagles. They've got Trump Aberdeen, Blair Gowrie. I mean, they've got some fantastic golf courses, and that's just naming a few there. But as you say, up close and personal, it's basically a tour event. I mean, some of these guys from last year are shooting 8-9 under in one round. So I mean, it really is high performance golf. So definitely, I think we should cover that. Maybe even try and get a wee chat with Paul Laurie at some point if he would like to come on the podcast.
There we go. Right, mate. Let's get out of here.
That sounds good. But just before we go, I'm going to scrounge for some subscribers on YouTube here. We've had a fantastic following on Instagram. Please could we get some more on TikTok? And if you do tune in via YouTube, Please hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It means the world to me and Scott. This is a hobby, but we really enjoy doing it, and your support means a lot. So if you could do that for us, we would be greatly appreciated.
Couldn't have said it better myself, mate.
There we go.
Cheers.
That's me done. Story time over.